So here I am actually ponying Lego for the first time. So I had ridden McCray around without holding on to him, without taking a hold of Lego. My mother-in-law, Kim, actually stood there and held Lego while I just rode McCray around. And he handled that well. I mean, he's seen us riding the whole time he's been here. So no surprise for that. And then I took him and just worked on taking a couple steps. It's hard in this smaller area, and McCray also thinks that it's playtime because he and Lego get along really well. So just trying to get Lego to grasp the basic concept of needing to follow us. Here he really isn't sure, and you can see he gets stuck quite a lot with his hind legs and has me all twisted up. So got untwisted and took a couple more good steps in the pen, and then decided that it was time to branch out into the paddock. And here you can see him kind of dragging him. He's definitely like delayed or lagging in his hind end, not really wanting to come. There he kind of steps up a little bit, but just lacking some forward momentum and trying to figure it all out. Totally normal. He gets a little stuck there again, and just kind of letting him figure it out, letting him take the time to figure it out, and then change direction. And again, he kind of gets a little stuck, but he's really good about giving to pressure, which is super helpful. So again, just kind of learning, like McCray kind of tripped a little bit there. And then here we go to the other side where he gets me all twisted up because he doesn't want to move his hind legs. And I have to switch hands. And then got going again. And this time, I think it was here, my mother-in-law is actually kind of clucking and encouraging Lego to go forward, and putting a little pressure on him in that sense. Actually, maybe we hadn't done that yet. Oh, McCray wants to stop at the bucket. I didn't quite realize that my rope was dragging, but McCray doesn't care. The only thing with that is it would have gone south if he had stepped on it. So actually here is when she had clucked and kind of encouraged Lego to go forward, more so from behind, just to keep his feet moving. He definitely gets stuck. It's a common problem with these guys, but you can see a big difference between the previous section of video to now. He got a little spooked there, but just worked on going in both directions. And obviously with ponying, they should they should be more up at your hip. But just when you're first teaching them, as long as they're coming with me and not fighting it too badly, I don't really care where they are. McCray wants to trot and move along. Lego's like, wait for me. What are we doing? I don't even know what we're doing anyway. Why are you going so quickly? Why do we have to walk like this? I want to leisurely stroll. So it's a great way to just kind of encourage them, give them confidence, have Lego. He really leans on me, figuratively speaking. Oh, actually, in general, he really leans on me on the ground. So it's just a great way to see if he can handle me up top, and him being able to still kind of lean on me in some ways, but not how he's used to. So here I was not really sure how I was going to get off with him being more on that side and how he would respond. But he did really well. McCray is a saint. That's why I keep him around. No, I'm just kidding. But that went really well. So then I thought, why don't I untack McCray and see if I can just introduce the Western pad and saddle to Lego. Now, prior to this, I had put him in the bareback pad. So he'd had something on and cinched up, but there's a big difference in weight from a bareback pad to even a Western pad. And then obviously the Western saddle has a whole bunch going on with the stirrups and the tassels hanging off, and a bigger cinch, and kind of all that stuff. So just desensitizing him a bit to a thicker, heavier pad, and he handled that really well. So then I introduced him to the saddle, And, he looked at it, sniffed it. I am not graceful with Western saddles or putting them on or even taking them off. I've been English my whole life, so, it's definitely a challenge for me. But he handled all this really well because, of course, like, the cinch strap got caught up, the tassels get caught up. But it's, still good desensitization for him. To try and figure it all out with putting the stirrups and stuff down. He's never had anything hit his sides. So he handled all this really well. You can see in his face and in just his posture in general, he's a little tight and tense, which is to 100% be expected. But you can also see like his ears are on me. He's listening. He loves to be reassured, told he's a good boy. I have to remind him to breathe. Just kind of wiggling it around to see what he'll do before I even think about cinching it up. And he handles all that super, super well. And then grabbed the cinch and thought, you know what, we'll see how this goes. Again, none of this was in the plans. You can see McCrae's nose poking through right below Lego's. Ugh, he just is a mess. Trying to help. There he hits the panels and bumps my phone. But in some ways, McCrae is a great confidence boost because he's very calm. So I think it was good to have McCrae down there with Lego and give him a little support. It was more going on than Lego's used to because my mother-in-law was there, or McCrae was there. He's used to my dog being with me. So that was good for him to be able to have to handle all that stuff and in some ways maybe be a little bit of a good distraction to him. So got him cinched up slowly, and then, I think my mother-in-law fed him a treat there. Once he gets a treat, it kind of helps him to remember to breathe, because that's a big struggle of his. He likes to hold his breath. So just working through that as I'm getting him cinched up. But overall, you can tell his ears and his, eyes are kind of on me. Mostly his ears are on me. He knows exactly where I am, what I'm doing. And he has a little tension through his top line, but overall he's being super good.
No, don't. Yeah, just
And then there's McCrae trying to help again. The first steps are always a bit worrisome to me, but he did really well. I stepped him away from the round pen panels first, and then kind of started out and just walked him around very slowly. And again, since I wasn't planning on doing any of this with him, I kept it super simple and basic. Took a handful of good steps. He was following me. He started, you can tell here a big difference in his body language. He was starting to relax and take some really good deep breaths. And with a horse like him, or any of them really, I like to keep it short and sweet and simple. If they're being good, reward them, and then, kind of call it quits while we're ahead, especially this early on in the stages. And since I wasn't planning any of this, I just took it really, really slow. With this type of horse, or with Lego, he's really taught me that sometimes slow is fast. The slower I go with him, the more he picks up and the more willing he is. And I really think, obviously, trust in the relationship that we have is huge and a big key factor, but also because I've just taken it so slowly with him. I think that's kind of why we are where we are right now. If you had told me even 2 months ago I'd be saddling him in the spring, I would have told you that you were out of your mind. So he's blown me away in all ways. And, I'm very pleasantly surprised with the progress that he's making. And you guys can tell from the videos and from all that I've posted that I'm obviously not rushing or throwing too much at him. He's just taking it all in stride, which is great.